Hello, welcome guys, welcome back to Clockwork Noodles. Becca is here once more, obviously still recovering. I'm a little bit behind. I think this episode's now eventually a day behind the schedule. I went out for about 4 days fully without no voice, so we're slowly getting back to where we were. So thank you for being so supportive and waiting out during this really odd time where videos are going up left, right and centre. Hello, I am Clockwork Noodles. I enjoy breaking down anime. When it comes to Moriarty the Patriot, I do like to add a more historical shine to things. I'll tell you if something is accurate, something is British as it appears to be in the anime. This season, not really having to use too many of those skills. It's more the plot currently driving, and there's not too many points I need to stop off of the bus and go, wait, let's talk about this. So if you are finding me for the first time, hello. I have broken down the entire first season for you guys to check out. That is on a playlist, so you can literally plug in, do your own thing, and let me ramble in your ears. I promise I sound a lot better than I do right now. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel though, because videos going up left, right and centre right now means I am very off schedule, so you can't really trust the schedule right now. So the best way is just make sure you ring the bell, make sure you subscribe, and your chances of missing a video are slim. There is a Discord too for you to hang out on, a place to lurk, get notified whenever videos go up, and you also get updates on how I'm coping when there's delays and what I am considering doing next on the channel. So without further ado, the episode a lot of you were anticipating for me to watch. It's been a bit of a controversial one. I thought what I've seen were people squawking at me to get on with this, and I was ill, guys. It went up yesterday and I just had no voice yesterday, so I avoided it. Interesting. That's just gonna say interesting, but let's go. Let's break it down. I've seen people complaining already. I basically read the complaints before I even watched the episode itself, just so I could keep an eye out, let's just say, just kind of break it down, pinpoint things and see how I felt. I don't know why I was so entertained with the first line being, word is spreading that Sherlock's experiment went wrong and he blew up his house. I like the fact that that is the wrap-up that's being given. From behind the scenes, Irene is starting to write to Sherlock, and that essentially gives us straight to the credits. And yes, I was going to put this right here, but I'm aware that this episode got a bit of a mixed review. Becca is here, guys, never fear. We're going to see what the anime did, why the anime made certain choices, and what it means for hopefully the rest of the season. We actually get to see Sherlock at his lowest point, perhaps his most desperate, at least the most desperate Sherlock this episode, when we can see him literally trying to cling to anything, everything, trying to find an answer. He keeps hitting the same wall, he can't find a way around it. This is defeated Sherlock. We've not really seen him so far this defeated, sitting on the floor, understanding that he's powerless and he can't really do anything. Sherlock's goodbye to Irene is a tiny bit of a test. He's basically trying to gauge her expectations. She isn't 100% convinced that she's going to be kept alive. But we get to see once more the actress in role. We get to see how amazing she is at putting on that front. But she does kind of hint that she messed up, which might have been the little key thing that she gave to Sherlock, as he ends up being more determined to protect her from this moment onwards. William, of course, expecting this. Who wouldn't? You know that Sherlock's going to come bounding after her. Because he can expect Sherlock to come after her, he's also able to come up with a plan ahead of schedule, stay one step ahead of the game by predicting the most possible outcome at this point, that Sherlock definitely will be coming after. And Fred, oh my god, Fred, seriously, again, why are you reusing this outfit? I hate this outfit. Oh my goodness, Fred. The cosplay king is back, my friend. I didn't recover from last time with this old woman. It's so creepy. Creepy Fred, as always. In fact, he is just the creepy one out of the bunch. And he's quiet. There's always the quiet ones you just can't trust. The setup for the document exchange. Let's talk about composition for a minute, because this is clever. The setup is very much a confessional booth. The type you'd go to confess your sins. Religion has always been shown when it comes to William announcing his initial plans back in season 1 when he told Albert and the kids what his plan was. The link to religion, people seeing him as almost a god, an answer to the world. They see him as godly in that sense. The fact that we're back in a church, I think, is great. It's that reuse of an imagery that to some people, what William is offering, his ultimate plan, is something godly. It's something that will change the very fabric of society. It almost appears as if Irene is here to confess her sins for stealing the paper in hope that the Lord, or she can get that protection, that knowledge that she will be spared. Sherlock, as expected, interfering. The hand coming from the darkness didn't jump scare me, Sherlock. If you're trying to jump scare me, you need to try a little bit better than that. Get on Fred's level. But of course, we see him interfering. But it really does kind of feel like Sherlock's being played throughout this entire sequence. This is not Sherlock's episode. The red filter on the man who, of course, it is his episode. The man of the hour, Albert himself, becoming the danger. Like we said last week, I'm not sat in a room full of danger. The danger's stuck in a room full of me. Albert really, this is his arc. I'm going to say it a few times now, is this arc, Sherlock and even perhaps William have taken a bit of a back seat whilst Albert actually gets to shine. This is Albert's moment. I also love the fact that he's again inside the mesh. Whenever we see Albert within the EDs, he's always behind something, whether it's a pane of glass, or whether it's a window. It shows his detachment, his cut-off nature. He feels like there's something in the way of him and the outside world, which is essentially what led to him to take actions in the first season. Sherlock seemingly bringing Scotland Yard with him, which you feel like it's him raising the stakes, but especially with the knowledge later on that it's not quite Scotland Yard, just feels like he's just pulling as much as he can, pulling an empty hand essentially. He's got nothing in his hand, but he's just throwing everything and anything that he can. The green and the red contrast when it comes to Albert, those colours are essentially nice contrasts for one another. They counteract. Green and red, apart from Christmas, they are quite ominous and powerful colours on their own. Sherlock is being played though, 100% being played during this sequence. Albert gets Sherlock into a position where he essentially has to bargain for Albert to protect Irene, where I kind of feel like Albert was actually going to not kill her in the first place. Anyway, I didn't think he was going to dispose of her, so it feels like he's kind of getting Sherlock to make a bargain for something that was already guaranteed. Sherlock believes he needs the Lord of Crime to protect Irene because he knows he can't do it, he is powerless, so he is begging and trying anything to get the Lord of Crime to agree not to kill her. Almost a low moment for Sherlock, so I really hope he actually bounces back at some point. Irene writes James Moriarty within the envelope. James Moriarty is actually any of them at this point, so even if, let's say, she had kind of died and Sherlock had actually opened the letter, it still could have been one of any of the three. The Lord of Crime isn't just William, and that is what I think a lot of fans were getting angry at initially during season 1, where we were just focusing on William and William aside. Hopefully you guys are feeling a lot better now, because this is definitely Albert's episode, and it's definitely showing us that the Lord of Crime is many people. He has many people who want that same goal, who are together, their actions are the Lord of Crime. And for my Watson fans, Watson in uniform for you guys, because I know you guys are a big fan of Watson out there. Irene's goodbye. Maybe she was fond of him, maybe she wasn't. It's up to you whether you think she does or she doesn't. I feel like she's definitely maybe fond, but I don't think it's anything more than just being like, hey, I like you, I enjoyed the time we spent together. What matters now is she got her wish, she has got her protection, and now she is going to be working alongside somebody who shares the belief for rebuilding the world that she wants to see. The Sherlock scene with the cigarette has been, I've seen the comparisons, guys, I've seen it, don't worry, has been compared to the very first ever episode, William lighting the match and his cigarette in the first episode. It is just a very clever case of mirroring, and the fact that people are seeing it is just showing that you guys are in tune to it. The anime's doing it very well, that you've actually picked up on it. I love the moonlight filtering through the windows. It's a very beautiful, poignant moment. I love the atmosphere that has been built. Passages below churches. Hit and miss, guys. Hit and miss on this one. There are a few in London that are rumoured to have passages leading to other buildings. There's kind of not any evidence. So Brompton itself, Brompton Cemetery, that has got crypts, but it hasn't got passages. So a little hit and miss, but we can give it to them. The red filter shows us that we are still in danger. We're still not quite in the clear just yet. When finally Irene realises the truth that the Lord of Crime is not just a simple person, it is many. It is her first meeting with William and Lewis, and thus the partnership between her and him begins. Let's get to it. Let's talk about that. The big move. The biggest move perhaps in the entire series. I'm happy to put it as the entire series. That moment with Mycroft, that moment with Albert and the brothers appearing. Albert has the documents and is happy to hand them over as well. Irene Adler is present, but this is just Albert's continuation of Albert's episode. This is him calling the shots. This is him also making a move that a few of us may not have predicted that they would have made, because they've essentially just come right out. Everything is now on the table. And yes, a few people wondered why I didn't mention a document last episode. I kind of figured that this would be the episode I'd need to talk about it. So let's talk about the document, the contents indeed. No doubt this document is essentially the plan that William Moriarty, the Lord of Crime himself, wants to enact. This is the plan. It is at least akin to what William's big goal is, a plan for a revolution, a plan to overthrow the world that full of corrupt and full of the bad aristocracy. These documents could indeed lead to a war in the wrong hands, but this is Albert's big brain. This is him calling the shots to Mycroft. Mycroft's only real position right now is to ensure that Albert isn't an enemy to Britain. Aside that, he doesn't really care about Adler, so he's not too fussed about her being alive. He just wants to ascertain whether Albert is a threat, because if Albert is a threat to Britain, he will be stepping in, and as he says, I will eliminate you right there and then. The Lord of Crime reveal to Mycroft, perhaps mind-blowing, everything now out. It's a bit shocking that it is happening episode 3 of the new series, so feels a little bit early, nonetheless impactful at the most. Everything William is planning is essentially what is on those papers. His entire plan, as he even explains to Mycroft, is the same within these papers. It's liberty, equality. We are going to re-establish the power balance within Britain. Maybe, perhaps, overthrow the monarchy. I'm going to put a question mark on that one, because I do believe that that could be the boundary to where Mycroft might step in. Because, I'm sorry guys, as much as we want to believe this is going to work, Britain does still have a monarchy. Nonetheless, we are going to be ending the aristocracy. That is his initial plan. Remove those who abuse their power. I want to draw attention to the slow minor key. Moriarty the Patriot theme is playing. It sounds absolutely gorgeous, slowed down and in the minor key. The entire sequence is just backed by this song, because this is the heart of the show. This piece of music, this motif, if I was to hum it, even though I'm sick right now, you would go, oh yes, that's Moriarty the Patriot. William does draw attention to the fact that the man who orchestrated the French Revolution was indeed killed at the end, sacrificed himself to end the reign of terror. This, my friends, is foreshadowing. I might have kind of hinted at the foreshadowing last season with the ED telling you that the Reichenbach Falls were clearly in shot in one of the sequences. That is, of course, the final place, the final showdown, in a sense, for William and Sherlock. This is foreshadowing. I firmly believe, and this isn't me spoiling anything, this is me making a guess, making a hunch. So if I do turn out to be correct, it's just made on a hunch, and I hope I ain't spoiling it too much, because I don't know. I don't know if this is true. I believe William is going to die at the end of this series. The visual of the scales and the feather. The feather represents freedom, innocence, purity. Within ancient Egyptian beliefs, it was believed if your heart was lighter or equal to a feather, you were a good person. You were able to go to the afterlife happily. But if your heart was heavier, it would result in Anubis taking you down to the underworld. The Lord of Crime is going to be a common evil. hopefully joining and reuniting both sides to take action and unite. Now, this is a common anime plot. That's why I can kind of predict what's going to happen, where we're going now. This is essentially the missing puzzle piece for me. Attack on Titan, Code Geass, Death Note, and many, many others, where the villain plays the villain because of the greater good. Somebody good, maybe good at heart, who has good intentions, takes on a villain role, will do many, many horrible things, just because at the end of the day, they want to reunite people and end up bringing peace. Mycroft agrees not to take action unless they step out of line. That is his threat. I do wonder if they are gonna at some point step out of alignment and end up forcing Mycroft's hand. That would be interesting. But Mycroft essentially allowing the Lord of Crime here to be and confirming his own silence. The revealing of the hand is a huge gamble, a huge ambitious move. It is the biggest move in the entire series. It's just kudos to Albert for pulling this off, putting it into play, because it is Albert with the link to Mycroft that allows it to happen, allows him to have access to Mycroft, who is essentially the government. The document is being kept around as a reminder. It's a reminder of the British burden, the burden of what they did. And then we are given yet another big important puzzle piece, Sherringford Holmes. This is the puzzle piece that we are missing when it comes to Mycroft and the way he acts, the way he is essentially the government and him working diligently for the Queen. Of course, this is a naturally big link if Sherlock ever actually worked out. That links Sherlock to the entire plot in a way. But we get to see a piece of Mycroft, quite a big piece here. Mycroft wants Sherlock to live free, so Sherlock knows none of this. He doesn't know that his ancestor was responsible for orchestrating the bloodshed that was the French Revolution. Mycroft ends up reaching out to Watson in regards to Sherlock's entanglement to Irene, bearing some horrifically bad news. But as well, I think it's convenient. I think Mycroft would find convenience in Adler being dead. She links way too closely for comfort. She's way too close for comfort for the secret that he is keeping from Sherlock. So I think there is comfort, or at least convenience, in Adler appearing dead in this bit. Irene, well, we'll get to the name in a minute. Irene passes Sherlock in the streets and bids him a good night, confirming, essentially, I believe, that she's alive. Especially with what's about to happen as well. Sherlock knows. Watson then informing Sherlock that she's dead. This is, of course, naturally a lie. She has been pulled from the Thames. Sherlock ends up burning the letter, not even checking the name, just because I essentially believe that Sherlock knows that she's not dead. We also know she's not dead, and we also get confirmation right at the end that she's not dead, also by that mole that is seen. This is, of course, the character a few people showed me, and people spoiled this for me, guys, and it annoyed me a little bit because they kept showing it to me, and I was like, wait, I don't know this character. This character clearly isn't the other two, because this guy has blue eyes. And then it kept being shown so much, I kind of made two and two together. So you guys, I love you guys to pieces, but you did fail at this point to keep this one a secret, I'm afraid. So you guys get a deduction there. The plan to kill Irene off was already kind of a thing. As soon as she entered the underworld, she began working for the Lord of Crime. She would have essentially taken on a new identity. So Irene Adler is dead, but again, theoretically. So the name Irene Adler now dead, she's now taking on a new name. And in quite a Mulan Disney-esque moment, she ends up cutting off her hair, accepting her new role. What I've got to actually say to both Mulan and both Irene, you took a knife, literally you cut blindly at your hair without looking, and your hair looks that good. If I was to hack at my hair right now, my hair is probably as long as Irene's, it would be wonky. It would look awful. And then, yes, the new name for Irene Adler. I hate it. I'm sorry, guys, I hate it. James Bond. Shaken, not stirred. I hate it. I'm sorry. No, please, no, don't do this. The major key for the variation of the main theme starts to play as she takes on her new role. She's being reborn. I've told you guys a few times, the main themes of Moriarty the Patriot, the idea of being reborn, the idea of rebirth, rebuilding. All of these themes are major and key. So, what did I initially think of the episode? Let's go into my final wrap up. It is one of the biggest power plays in the entire series. Mycroft's reveal, just coming out point blank, telling Mycroft everything, even William and Lewis being there as well. The stakes have been raised, but at the same time, it now kind of feels like the Lord of Crime is allowed to operate. He's kind of now operating, and the government is completely aware of it. So it almost feels like he's won. It sounds weird. It just feels like he's won. Mycroft wanting to keep the secret and let Sherlock live a free life, actually showing us quite a nice little tender side to Mycroft, wanting Sherlock to actually be free of the burden that he is carrying. Sherlock also being led to believe that she's dead. I think as well it's kind of convenient for Mycroft because she's way too close to the secret he's trying to keep, so it's actually better for him if she was dead. Now she's part of the underworld, it makes sense that she has a new identity. I always kind of thought that the blonde hair as well, because Irene Adler in the actual books, I think she's a redhead. Pretty sure she's a redhead. It's been quite a while, but I'm pretty sure she definitely wasn't blonde at the most. But the choice to make her blonde, I think it's this moment. The fact that she does look scarily similar to Will and Lewis. Now working in the underworld, it of course allows her to ensure that the world now gets reformed the way that she wants. Sherlock and Will kind of take a back seat in this arc. It is indeed Albert's arc. He has taken key. He's showing the world that I also am the Lord of Crime. I really hope I get a Lewis arc, guys. I kind of feel like I'm not in luck and I'm not going to get it. So I picked the wrong brother to stand here. Besides that, it's an interesting episode in general. I like it. And there's little bits I don't like about it. Let's put it like that. It's definitely not the worst episode in the entire world. I sat through The Promised Neverland Season 2 and physically broke it down every week, guys. I've been through worse. So when I've seen these comments of people saying, I'm not going to watch it anymore. Come on, guys. Come on. Really? It's fine. Stick with it. This anime is doing its best. And I think it's doing quite a good job of keeping us literally glued to the screen. No doubt about it, my eyes were on the screen every single moment this episode. So we are starting a new arc next week. Can't wait to see where it goes. What are we now going to do? Mycroft essentially knows everything. How are we now going to proceed? That Irene Adler or James Bond, come on please. James Bond was working for the Queen, guys. Working for the Queen. If anything, it feels like this James Bond is going to bring the Queen down. We're going to see what happens next with the Lord of Crime now that we've got a new addition to their family. I do think that Sherlock needs to have a bounce back episode or something because he's definitely had one of his lowest arcs where he's actually been played. It feels like he's really been played this episode. So I hope you guys are having a great day. Also, thank you for being supportive of my lack of voice. Complete disruption to the entire channel schedule, out the window entirely. I am aware that To Your Eternity episode 2 has just dropped. You won't get it till tomorrow. I need to take a break now. So bear with me, guys. I think we're nearly back on track. Thank you for so much. I hope you're taking care of yourselves, guys. Until we meet again. Goodbye.